mastery. Well, hi there, and welcome to another episode of Live at Leigh's Place. I'm your host, Leigh McRae, the creator of the Vocal Mastery System. Thank you for joining us. And as I always say, there's never been a better time to become a great singer. And speaking of great singers, I have with me today my very, very special friend, Natasha Vella. Hello, Natasha.
How you going, Lee?
I'm very well. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having
me.
me.
Applause out there.
I know. Thank you, guys.
Now, I have to do this before we go on. Folks, the feedback has been fantastic about the podcast and the videos. Thank you. We couldn't be happier. Can we ask you to subscribe? Well, we can ask you to subscribe.
Yes, please do.
In fact, I've just done that.
Please do.
That really kind of helps the process, and that way we can get it out. We can get the message out a little bit more, and by all means, share it and like it and all the other stuff that goes with it. So, enough of that sort of stuff. Natasha,
Lee?
it's been great having you.
Thank you. Thank
finished
you.
already?
I'm excited. We're done. We're out. That's too easy.
That wasn't that difficult, was it?
Catch you next time. Round two.
Yeah. Well, look, I always like to start by asking our guests when they first knew, or when did you first know that you were a singer?
Oh, I'm still trying to figure out if I am. I don't know. I don't
Let's
know.
assume that you are.
Let's assume I was a singer.
For the benefit of the argument, let's assume that you're a singer. And by the way, we'll put Natasha's details, I'm getting good at doing this now, in the description
down
box below. You can go and check out the wonderful things that she's done, and of course you'll be seeing her a bit later. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm a pro.
You are in every sense of the word. Look, I guess I grew up singing in church choir.
Yes.
And dancing and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, the first time I ever got asked to sing was after I'd sang at church, and someone asked me to sing at their wedding from there.
Right.
And I'd always been interested in the performing arts, but I didn't think it could seriously be a career.
It's interesting, because I do have a question regarding that in a little while, in the time that we've known one another.
Yeah.
So how old were you when that took place? When you were singing in when
the choir from very young.
Right.
Oh, a wedding, let's say, I don't know, maybe 14-ish.
Right.
Probably 14-ish or so.
Right.
Yeah, so kind of did that, and by then I was teaching dance and whatnot, and got chatting to my teachers at the time. The lady who owned the studio at the time, and her niece, and they were talking about working on cruise ships and whatnot, and that there were courses you could do to enable you to do that as a full-time job. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Right.
So they were the ones that pushed me to then go on to study or audition at ED5 International, which I didn't think it was possible for me to get into because I hadn't had any formal singing training or whatnot at that stage. But I went along to the audition very blindly and managed to make my way to the course, and kind of never looked back after that.
That's very interesting, because so for folks watching who are perhaps outside of Australia, and there's lots of them watching. Yeah. ED5 is a well-known. It's a talent school. Performing arts school sounds a bit nicer.
Yeah.
They specialise in dance and singing primarily.
Yes,
right?
yes, dance,
some
singing,
acting
as well. Yes,
and you can do two streams there.
Yes,
you can go as a singer who dances.
Yes,
I'm guessing that's how you went.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Or you can go as a dancer who does a bit of singing.
So I was a vocal major.
So that means that I think so. You would have a private lesson 2-3 times a week every day.
Once a week private, but then you'd also have classes specific for your vocal group, which was only say 12 of you. So you did get a lot of attention solely in that class also.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, and then so completed that. Very difficult 2 years of my life. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I was just very lucky to be given some great opportunities by actually an ex-student of yours also, Tamara. Tamara spotted me at a Penrith show. Hi, Tamara.
Yes.
We haven't forgotten about you, that's for sure.
I used to do the joke with the sun will come up.
Tamara. That's
Thank you.
great.
Thank you. Once again, setting up the comedic aspect of the show.
We can both be funny though. You got to get.
Well, we'll see how that works out. Yeah.
Yeah. So she asked me to audition for a show she was working on at the time.
Right.
Which happened to be the same show that I met my now partner in.
Right.
Who is also a student of yours. And also she gave me a few opportunities from there, and I was very lucky. Kind of took every opportunity that followed on from those, and I I guess I am a singer or
You
entertainer
are.
now.
You are indeed. Well, you are. And then it's interesting because just to sort of backtrack a little, I've worked with a number of people that have come through that particular program, and it seems very thorough. And
Yes.
a lot of those folks are working. They have their alumni, and this, by the way, this is not an endorsement for that.
There's a lot of them around.
Nor is it a criticism of it. It's you need to look up your own kind of your own things that you want to do.
The best training you can find.
But I think insofar as a place that you can go to, it's structured.
Yes.
And there are a number of them, not only in Australia, but all around the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There is a real benefit to going into an environment like that, whether you go and become a music major or a vocal major or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's the discipline of you're there 5 days a week.
Yes,
and they start 8
till 4.
8 till 4.
Yep.
And they start to prepare you for the potential reality of being in the entertainment business.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Whatever situation that is.
Yeah, and auditions. They put you through a lot of audition practice and interviews and in front of agents. And there's a lot of opportunity given, but it is difficult. It is 5 days a week. You are dancing and singing and acting from 8 till 4. And it's tough. It's tough. Especially coming from, I hadn't done anything like that previous.
No, and in the time that I've known you, when I first met you, you were doing, I don't know if music on the side's the right way to put it, but it wasn't your full-time.
Yeah, no, definitely not. No.
And we had a discussion one time and you said, well, I'm thinking about, I think you had a contract with, we won't go into the company, because they were mentioned recently in the Royal Commission.
Yeah, so you told me and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, into the banking industry. So probably just as well you're not working there, but I think you had some sort of contract there, and you were very nervous. I remember about the potential of, hey, I'm going to leave a full-time paid job or a permanent part-time job and go and start making a living as a musician.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what that transition has been like.
It was tricky. Look, prior to that, I had always done some form of, entertainment and performing, but it was definitely a side thing. I was working prior to that, in pharmacy and worked in a doctor's surgery and was teaching dance and teaching a bit of piano, and I'd kind of done a bit of everything, just whatever I could to be able to still perform, that little bit that I was. And then I landed a job at this banking firm, and I was, I didn't hate it. I was actually really enjoying it, but I was trying to juggle that, full-time hours of that, which were getting longer and longer because my position was kind of getting moved up and up. So I was spending longer there and a shorter amount of time singing. Right. So I was kind of advancing within this job.
And that was frustrating at that point?
It was exhausting. It was just tiring. I was kind of going from, going into work earlier, leaving later, trying to make it to gigs afterwards.
Right.
And I was noticing I was just a lot more exhausted. I was getting sick more often. I couldn't focus on music. So it kind of put me in a little bit of do I want to go down the financial path, which was never... I mean, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but it wasn't, my number one goal to be a financial advisor or whatnot. Did I want to take the leap and try and focus on music and entertainment? Because I was missing a few things during the week also that I had to take time off to say sing it. I mean, I do sing at funerals, but take time, off for that or for different opportunities during the week or auditions. And you kind of feel like you're letting your team down there, and you kind of, was at a decision point.
Well, I think that that's the reality for most folks. A lot of the young people I've worked with who've made the move to the UK, because it's easy to go, if you're in musical theatre, generally speaking, if you're from Australia, you've probably got a relative who's a British or a British citizen or something. Yeah. Where, as opposed to going to Broadway, where we've got to get a visa and a green card and all the other stuff that goes with it. And so a lot of those folks are fortunate enough, these are the folks in the UK I'm talking about, they're fortunate enough to land a job where they're working in the theatre, perhaps at the merchandising stand or as an usher or something. Yeah. And knowing full well the environment there is, if they get an audition tomorrow, they can swap those shifts and move. Yes. Whereas I guess your regular employer is not as sort of empathetic to that.
Yeah, no. And look, I was very lucky. Mine were, they were, as they get to know you and as they get to, they were great with me taking time off, but there's only so much time you can take off.
Of course.
In the scheme of things before it's...
And just back to the training. What would you say were the major advantages of, for want of a better term, almost being forced to have to do? I don't. So that's quite not quite the right term.
Yeah.
But you're there. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Did you find that work favourably for you?
Like I said, it was very difficult because number one, it was just something I just didn't even think was possible. And a lot of these kids had grown up from day dot knowing that this is what they were going to pursue.
Yes.
So they were from elite, these elite schools that I'd never heard of and whatnot. But, and they're all kind of, they've trained under this person and that person and whatnot. So it was very daunting. And they seemed to know so much about the industry and knew all these names that I had no idea. I was so oblivious to at the time. So it was kind of, you felt really, I don't know, sheltered or,
It isn't always the case. I saw a young lady, I was going into the gym the other day and I parked underneath there and I was getting into the lift, or the elevator, whatever you call it. And out comes this, young to me, probably, early 20s now.
Yeah.
Young lady who used to come here, who was, I'm telling you, if someone said, do you believe this girl's going to be a superstar? I would have said, yep. I'll bet my house on it.
Yeah.
This girl could sing, dance, act, tall, attractive, the whole bit. And she comes out of the thing pushing a pram.
Yeah.
And she says, oh, hi, blah, 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 chit chat.
Yeah.
Meet my daughter.
Yeah.
I said, isn't that wonderful? So I didn't think, oh, well, that's probably the end of the career.
Yeah, no, that's...
However, she certainly said it was.
Yeah.
And I said...
don't know.
Yeah, well, so... Where am I going with that point? It certainly does not mean if anyone's out there got kids.
I know a lot of working.
Working people in the business and whatnot. But in this particular case, the girl, her life has taken a different direction.
Yes.
Irrespective of her perhaps being one of those people.
Yeah.
That you went, oh my God, she's been doing it since day dot.
Yeah.
This girl, had a full scholarship, and it's not neither right nor wrong.
No, that's it. She's found her happy.
The thing that I always say to folks, and I've done workshops all over the world. And I always say to folks, a career is a great idea. Of course it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Hey, would you like to have a career? Yeah, that'd be good. Would you like to be on Broadway? Yeah, why not? Of course, why not? Want to be a recording artist? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing in practice. And this is not to frighten anyone off from it. Sometimes, I get folks come to me and they have, quite exquisite skills.
Yeah.
But they don't have the right temperament to have a career.
Yeah.
They're really going to struggle.
There's a lot more than just, of
there
course,
is that.
The grounding and training is very important, but there's a lot more.
I agree. And we're going to later on perhaps touch on some of those sort of subjects.
Yeah, cool.
What I do want to talk to you about is, in your capacity of making a living as a singer, there's a nicer way of putting that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There are a number of things that you do. So, so you've got multiple gigs.
Yes.
And the few that I've got here in front of me, one is I know that you can work as a solo piano player and a singer. Yep. And you're also in a TV show called Splashdance.
Yes,
which is
an ABC.
Certainly on the Australian network. It may be on one of those.
I'm not 100%
It may be on
sure.
Disney or Nickelodeon. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an
Perhaps it
ABC
is in
Kids
your
thing.
town.
Yeah.
And you also then portray one of the girls in ABBA.
Yes, Frida.
In Frida.
Yes, in ABBA's
She
back.
the redheaded one?
Yes.
Thank you.
Or dark-haired.
Sure.
Dark-haired.
Dark-haired,
what?
as opposed to the blonde.
The blonde.
And I believe that some of our listeners and viewers will be interested to know the difference between the vocal application for each of those jobs.
Yeah.
And I know in the capacity of me teaching you and coaching you, we've covered
it's always a point of, because my mind is very, but why and how and what?
Well, there's that part, but then there's the actual application.
Yeah.
So I've come and seen you work in the piano bar.
Yes,
and I've recorded with you today, so I know your voice very, very well.
Yes.
And I'm coming out to the ABBA show.
Yeah,
I think it's next week, isn't it?
Yes, very soon.
I'm going to get my 70s gear out.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is easy for me.
If you want to wear...
pretty much all I've got,
If you want to be Frida for the night, I mean,
the
dress is yours, Lee.
I wasn't going to go
the
that
dress
far.
is yours.
But, so tell me, what is the difference there with... Is there a difference with how you would use your voice in each of those particular... I hate the word genre. But
I think I've come to learn that there is. I guess I grew up and have always, or had thought I'd always sung in one particular register or voice or whatnot, which was more why I say piano bar.
So just to clarify that for the folks who we get lots of emails, people wanting vocal tips.
Yeah.
When you say your register, what are you referring to?
I guess I never had I had a very well developed, let's say, head voice.
Okay.
So I kind of could almost like belt in my head voice, but it wasn't actually belting. I didn't have much of a chest register from my perspective at all.
Now, just to, once again, sorry
Yep.
to
No,
stop.
no, that's good.
By chest register, are you referring to where you're now talking?
More of my speaking voice.
Gotcha,
Yeah. I didn't
So it
feel
was
like
more
I
heady?
sang. Yes, I feel like I didn't sing from where I spoke from.
Right, and that also, I'm guessing, a lot of that came from the church music, because traditional church music, is written in octaves and that sort of thing.
I think so. I think that's where it developed. I'm still very inquisitive about it myself. I'm always questioning.
Right.
But I think one of the first times you were working with me in my lessons on it, but I didn't believe myself about it being able to be so versatile and whatnot. And I think the ABBA show, starting that last year, really forced me to explore it a lot more. Because
now, when you say explore it, once again, I'm just trying to clarify, more of your mixed voice.
More of the mix,
Yes.
Chest into mix.
Right.
Yeah, definitely, because Frida sings a lot of the lower stuff, and I was doing a lot of lower harmonies and whatnot, and it just kind of wasn't cutting it to use my other kind of persona of voice as such.
So just once again, because I get people emailing me and they want me to clarify what people have spoken about. And I'm happy to do that. And keep sending those emails in, the questions and whatnot. We love them. We really do.
Yeah.
So you were singing a lot lighter, a lot headier.
Yeah.
Dare I say a little bit more traditional. Whatever that means
possibly.
To people.
Yeah.
But for pop, that wasn't really a good foundation.
Yeah. Like I was finding, I had ongoing particular issues, like in terms of accuracy or, like I said, I couldn't sing low at all, really, without it being very pitchy. So the ABBA show, I guess, was one of the first times it really forced me into that area. It was quite low, but very strong. It couldn't be wish-washy. It was ABBA.
It is ABBA.
And my counterpart is, a beautiful, strong singer, and I just wanted. It just gave me an avenue to work through it, and forced me to and apply what we had been trying to get into my head from our lessons, but actually go, right, this is a brand new songs that although I knew ABBA songs, I hadn't sung them. I had to learn them all very quickly, and it forced me to sing through that area. And it's just...
Now this is an area that leads me into the viewer question, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a small break here and come back with the viewer's question.
Cool.
So we'll be back to
Sounds
start
good.
with this. You're tuned in to Live at Leigh's Place, where we talk to singers about singing stuff. Proudly presented by vocalmastery.com, where there's never been a better time to become a great singer. Okay, welcome back. Now, I wanted to ask you.
Yep.
We get questions. I really should add some theme music for this.
Tricky.
Like one of these letters. We
of
get
the week.
Letters. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
letter of the week. You know what? I'm going to work on that.
We need a jingle by next week.
We need a jingle.
That's it.
Right, jingle. One of the most common questions that I get is. It's regarding exercises. What exercise should I do here? What exercise should I do to get my high voice together, my vibrato? They're common questions.
Yeah.
But a question I got during the week, which I absolutely adored, from this young lady in Perth, which is in Western Australia. She said, do you, and I'm quoting here, do you prescribe, is the word she used, particular songs that help develop? Now, that's why I led into, if you may recall, prior to the little break we had, the ABBA songs, for want of a better term, forced you to, and I use the term force, but encouraged you to have to use a part of your voice in a different way. Yeah. Sometimes the material, as in the types of songs that we sing, will do that. Yeah. And I'll get folks come to me who, I've just been cast as blah, blah, blah in a musical. Or I've been asked to do a certain type of thing. Or even in children's entertainment. Yes, yeah. And I need to have this particular part of my voice together. Have you found in your experience the combinations of exercises and songs, or has it been more exercises or more songs that have helped you develop?
Look, I think exercises are always fantastic, but you've got to experience, like you tell me, you've got to experience that spot. You need to make that spot known so that you can keep visiting the right place when you are singing. So we always.
Now, when you say the spot, once again, I'm breaking it down.
Yeah,
So once you get the feeling of where the voice is sitting,
yes,
right?
yeah,
There is called the placement. It's,
the place that it feels like comfortable and right to you. You just
right.
It's just
for the appropriate song.
for the appropriate material. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So have you found in your experience that it tends to be a particular type of song that more or less sort of drags you into that?
Yeah.
Or is it an exercise that gets you into the spot, and then that thing we do where we turn the song into an exercise?
Yes. So it's, definitely. So it is the exercise that gets you to the spot, definitely. But once you're there, it is remembering that spot and then applying that spot into a particular song or feeling it within a song. And then, I guess, continually, if you can't find it within other material, which is, I often struggle with, then I'll get into another song and think, oh, how do I get back to that place? Right. And then, as you will often do with me, is start one of the ABBA songs that I've got, that tends to get me into the right place fairly easily.
Yes.
And then trying to emulate that across.
Now, I was about to say almost every endeavour I've seen. What exactly would that mean? There are a vast majority of skill-based activities that have a starting position. I can go into if you're a dancer, you'll identify to this. I can go into a room with 200 dancers. Yep. And they're chit-chatting. We're going to do a workshop. And I can go first position. And they will all know. And everybody, up they go. Straight into it. Now, why is it first position? Why is it not ninth position? Because, sorry, there is no ninth, for another time. But, sorry, that's why they don't my dancing experience right there. No, because that's the basis where it starts from. Now, different. If you're a piano player, for argument's sake, you don't play the piano with your hands backwards. That's right. There's a starting position. When my children were learning, they called it tabletop hands. But it doesn't matter what you... But, flat hands. So you get your hands ready to play. Yes, if you're a tennis player. And so I could keep going forever. A golf player. And yet, for so many in singing, it just sort of... They just sort of throw it out of the mouth and go, oh, that didn't quite go where I wanted it to go. Now, I'm going to be very technical here. Singing is postulated. It's a fancy way of saying it's pre. Yeah. So it's like throwing a ball. When you throw a ball, once it's gone, you have no effect on it. Yeah. So people listening to themselves singing, pardon me, after the event. Yeah. It's after the event. Yes. Yeah. So finding that spot, and this is where exercises can be enormously beneficial. Yeah. And so what I'm able to do is take people back through a little thing I have called the Friendly Vowel. Yes. Which is in my vocal mastery program. There's a shameless plug right there. Please do. You can find it at vocalmastery.com. And by the way, anyone, because we have had a few emails about that, if you want to send me an email and mention that you've seen the podcast and you've subscribed, I have a very special discount for you.
Discount code. Please say the discount code. Can I get a special discount code just in case my followers...
You're getting nothing. Yes, no, that's fine.
I've never had one. I want my own code.
So, your own code. So we've got the situation where by bringing the voice back to, dare I say, the spot. Yeah. And then you can then venture out from that particular position. Yeah. But it intrigues me that there are so many singers who it's like tossing a coin going, well, let's see where it lands today. Yeah. And you can't build a career on that.
No, I had always wished that I'd started singing lessons a lot earlier. For that reason, like I said, I've been lucky. I had sung a certain, without training for quite a long time. And I guess it was just it has been difficult to but I guess retrain in a more sustainable manner, because I was having issues, with sustaining my voice, and if I hadn't started rectifying that before I started working, I don't think I would be.
And where is that now in contrast to once you started? I hate the word serious. Please, please don't be serious.
Well, there's nothing serious about our.
No. Well, we do have fun, and that's important. Sure do, but the work is the start. Yeah, it's something that I was always taught. Yeah. And so. We want to be committed. Yes. But in fact, maybe we should be committed. The pair of us.
It's hard not to take yourself so serious. Like, I mean, I'm laughing and mucking around here, but it is hard to get that balance of being as committed as you possibly can, but not taking yourself so seriously that you'll never do anything.
I agree. Yeah. So we might leave that subject there for a while. So I guess to wrap that bit up there. I've got particular songs that I'll give people that in and of themselves will firstly expose what's going on in the voice. Yeah. And
Yeah.
secondly, give them a vehicle with which we can correct that
Yeah.
by just simply taking the melody of a song like Yesterday by the Beatles.
Yeah.
And instead of singing Yesterday, oh mate, and finding a vowel,
Yeah.
na 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 na, and find it, and they go, oh, gee, I've never gone through there before.
Yes. Yeah.
Simple stuff, and that seems to work. Some people like more of that, dare I say, song exercise approach.
Yeah.
But others are fanatical about, I must do my exercises, I must do my exercises.
Yeah.
And I've tried to sort of get people to, at the very minimum, be able to explain to me why they have to exercise so much. Now, I don't mean for one second, please do not write to me and say, what do you mean? We don't have to voice exercise. If the voice exercises are not creating some sort of new thing for you, then really have they served their purpose?
Yeah.
And then you would have other things that would maintain you at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
And it may be fair to say that once you're thoroughly warmed up and if your voice is in good shape,
Yeah.
the singing itself is the thing
Yeah.
that reminds you about how to go back to that spot every time.
Yeah.
Now, you have to be probably at a fairly advanced level to know the difference between those two.
Yeah.
But some folks can hang around exercises for too long.
Yeah, just doing it blindly. I think doing it blindly
That's
because that's what you have to do as a singer, I think it only serves a purpose for so.
I had a guy come to me one time, and this is the days we used to get a physical program. Now we don't do this physical program any longer. It's a digital program.
Yes.
But guy had a book. He opened and he had every program of a number of my colleagues in the United States who I know very, very well. This guy had the lot.
Wow.
And I said to him, wow, you've obviously invested quite a bit. He said, oh, I've worked every one of these programs. And I said to him, so which is the best?
Yeah.
He said, oh, I don't really know. I said, okay, well, more importantly, which are the exercises that you need to specifically do to make sure your voice is in good shape? He couldn't tell me. Now,
Yeah.
bless him for his enthusiasm.
Yes, yeah.
And his investment and everything that went with it. And I said, you know what? You'd be wanting to know at this stage this, and this. And that's something that the reason I started an idea like vocal mastery is the idea of mastery is that you are able to do a similar, if not identical thing each time.
Each time, yes.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
And so once again, I'm just saying, folks, it's not that you don't need exercises.
Yeah.
Although you might be a person who doesn't need exercises. I would be reviewing them. And if you're seeing a teacher and whatnot, just ask them politely. And I mean this, respectfully and politely. Just remind me, in case you've forgotten, I should say, what's this exercise meant to be doing?
Yeah.
And if you don't get a pretty clear cut answer, I'd be at least reassessing that.
Yeah.
Now, I want to move on to a subject, and I just want to say to folks out there, the subject we're going to talk about is a very sensitive issue. If you are experiencing, or you know anyone who's experiencing mental health issues, please make sure that you see a professional person.
Yeah.
I'm not a counsellor. Natasha is not a counsellor.
No.
So what we're going to talk about is something that Natasha has brought to my attention and that she wants to speak openly about as a way of trying to help others.
Yes,
is that right?
Definitely.
So
definitely.
I'm not sure kind of where we start on this point, but other than to say that you're a young person, one of sadly very, very many these days, who suffers from anxiety or I'm going to let you go.
And it's funny like you talk because I'm quite a bubbly, muck aroundy kind of person. Like I love being the source of light and humor in a room kind of thing. But I have had since a very young age this underlying anxiety, which did become depression, quite severe depression. And I have had it as an ongoing thing, and it of course comes in waves. So I'm not constantly like that, but there could be a month, there could be 2 weeks per year or so that things are really bad. And I think you probably saw it for one of the first times this year where I
did, and if I may say, and I've known you for I think probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
The only way I could put it is it scared me.
Yeah.
It scared me for you.
Yeah.
And it scared me to the point that I almost didn't recognise you. I mean, physically I recognised you, although you were not great physically either.
No, I could,
And my heart not only went out to you, but I'm a father as well, and I have a daughter not that much, well, just a bit younger than you.
Yeah.
And I know that this is an issue. I see it all the time on social media. And I just want to repeat again, folks, if you're having problems in this area, please see somebody who knows what they're talking about. Don't listen to this old guy here, you know, how I'm not handing out advice here. Other than see somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Look, what I say about anxiety disorders with regard to the entertainment business is probably the worst business to get into.
Well, it's a lot more common than you think.
It might be the same if you're in real estate. I'm just not in real estate, and I'm also not a chef either. And I know that it's very common across the board. And I think what has become different, so, you know, I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
As cliched as it sounds, we just didn't talk about it.
Yeah, no.
20, even 10 years ago, I'm sure we weren't talking about it. You know? You've got coping mechanisms though, right? You have ways of being able to see what's coming on and is it something you can share about that?
You can, look, I can generally tell, I mean, from something as simple as going for a walk.
Right.
And if I'm looking people in the face and saying hi to them, which is what I would normally do, and, you know, walking past people and saying good morning, hi, as opposed to looking down and not being able to look people in the face or look, you know, at that point, you know, it's such a difficult thing to, you know, you don't even want to leave your house at that point, let alone.
So, once again, under the banner, this is not advice. This is Natasha's experience, right?
Yeah.
The two things you said there is your physiology is different because you go for a walk, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if I'm hearing that correctly, you're making a connection with people. Hello, how are you? And you're engaging at that point. Now that may be a strategy that works for all I know. Maybe it works for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not handing out advice.
Yeah. No,
in this
that's
area
it. We're
at
just.
So would you then find yourself almost forcing yourself to do that?
Yeah, it's a very difficult. Like, I'm very lucky. My partner is extremely supportive, and we have had like a history of mental illness in my family.
Yes.
So my father did pass from suicide from a mental illness. And I had then a housemate exactly the same a few years later. So it is very prevalent, and I know that my life's journey at some point with my music will be directed that way. I forget what I was going with this.
Well, that's okay.
It's
interesting how because I know you've spoken to me about this, and I just want to say publicly, you know, all the folks watching this around the world, I think you're an amazing individual. You know that, and I think you're incredibly brave to talk about this because it's not an easy subject to chat about, and the fact that and we're not trying to be touchy feely here and warm and glowy. The fact that you're going to do what you can to try and turn that into something that's worthwhile to other people. And I know it comes from a very deep source within you because if you could somehow help folks to not experience what you've experienced, is that the right grammar?
You wouldn't wish it on your enemy. Like, at that point, it's such
I saw you there, whatever it was, 6 months ago, and as I say, it frightened me.
Yeah, it's scary. You almost, all I can describe it as, it's almost you're like in an embryonic state, I was, my partner did kind of force me to come along to lesson. No, you're going to come to your singing lesson, you're going to thing, and it, you know, at that point you're barely functioning as such, and it's sad, and it's again, it's not just a performer's, you know, thing. Mine didn't stem from performing. It was just, you know, it just was a part of my physiology and makeup. But being in the entertainment industry is quite a tricky. There's no hiding. You have to get on. You know, you can be having a, you know, breakdown in the car, and you just, you know, that in 15 minutes, right, and you feel like you're not gonna get there, but something just clicks in at that last second, and you.
Yeah, I had a young lady who was coming to me for a while. A fantastic singer.
Yeah. A
really, really good singer. Was signed with a major record company in Australia. Had management, the whole bit. And, you know, she got up to the point of where she had her album launch and industry night, which is a fairly common thing around the world, you know. Yeah. And I went in with her and I went backstage to warm her up, and it's stuff that I do with people. Yeah. And she had an anxiety issue, attack, whatever you want to call it. She been pretty well managed at that point.
Yeah.
She asked me, in fact, she practically begged me to go out and make an announcement to the crowd that she was unable to perform tonight.
Yeah, wow.
And I looked at her and I said, well, gee, I don't even know what to say at this point.
Yeah.
Her family were around her. They seem to know how to kind of manage things.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I think I kind of went down that track of, there's a lot of people in there, and I thought, well, you know what, if that's what she wants, I'll go and do it.
Yeah.
And now this is not a pat on the head for Leigh, right? Something said to me, I wonder if I could somehow be with her while she's there. So I said, how about this?
Yeah.
You go on and do the show, and I'll stand in the wing.
Yeah.
And I'll be 10 feet away from her. And I won't move from there, you know? And she said, well, would you do that? And I thought, now we're going to be able, now we're good.
Yeah.
Now, that was more good luck than anything.
Yeah, but it could be something small.
I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Even sitting here, I don't know. I've got stuff going. So I don't know what people ring me up going, can you be my guru?
Can you please stand in my wing all the time?
No, the answer is no.
No.
But what I'm saying is, she went on, and look, she had a career for about as long as she could tolerate it.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, in her circumstances, her anxiety, she wasn't able to fly. Without being heavily, sedated, right? Which is really tough if you're in the music business. Because you're going to be flying.
And you're going to be travelling.
And, then she didn't like being out of her own environment. Well, that's another tough thing.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, she
she
made a very, very sensible decision after a period of time to go, you know what? I need to take a different tact in life. I'm still very good friends with that person and with her family, and she's doing wonderfully well.
Yes,
yeah. But boy, that was
it's hard.
What am I going to do here?
Yeah.
I've seen other performers have moments.
Yeah.
And I think the public would be very, very surprised to know how many, even the well-known singers I've worked with within this country, how many of them are, they're not all curled up in the corner sucking their thumb. But boy, do they go through it sometimes.
So
definitely. Look, we don't want to have, this is not a doomsday thing.
No.
Because the wonderful thing, look how bright and happy.
That's what's,
we've had a great day. We've had a wonderful time recording.
I guess it just shows you that it affects all different types of people.
Everyone.
You don't know what anyone's going through at any particular point, and
this is where the movements like Are You OK and all these sorts of things are so important, aren't they? They're essential.
100%.
Once again, if you just tuned in at this particular moment, I am not a qualified person. I'm not handing out advice other than that sensible approach that if you are having some sort of issues, mental health wise or otherwise, you got to speak to somebody who knows about that stuff and look, don't be shy. Tell them I sent you.
No,
it's
something. The stigma is going. You know what I mean? It is moving, and I know it's still a thing. But if you knew how many people, professional and whatnot, professional, unprofessional, suffer and go through these kind of things.
They really do, don't they?
You don't feel as alone and as weird and odd and.
Right.
Yeah.
I think on that somber note, we'll take another break. We'll be back with you very, very soon.
Sounds good.
You're tuned in to Live at Leigh's Place, where we talk to singers about singing stuff. Proudly presented by vocalmastery.com, where there's never been a better time to become a great singer. All right.
If I didn't know if your generation would know, hashtag.
What generation? Where do you think I've come from? The Ice Age.
You mentioned the 70s gear, not me. So.
Yes, I do have some. All right. So, what's happening next? Where do you see the things you've got your solo work, you've got the TV work, you've got your ABBA show that you're doing, but is anything churned up there?
Well, I've been the Splash Dance and ABBA's Back. I've been in for about a year now. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely looking forward to venturing forward with those, and who knows, more travel with them would be great. It's given me some cool travel opportunities.
Just randomly, you're off to Korea, right?
Yes,
things like oh, by the way, next week we're doing some shows in
the last time we did, and this isn't normally what happens within the industry, but we had about 12 hours notice. It was
12 hours notice.
12 hours, and when you're someone like me that gets a little bit anxious about that kind of stuff, it was but it forced me again to push through and challenge myself. So I would love to continue with those. I think I'm learning so much doing those kind of shows and stuff. Look, eventually I'd love to be writing my own stuff. I thought I would be doing that a long time ago, but I've been, had some great opportunities, and I've chosen to run with those while they
You
are
have
there.
written your own some of your own songs though.
Mucked around with it, yeah,
Right.
but not like I was talking with I would love to write a whole album, with the intent of fundraising or money going towards a mental illness
Well,
charity
I think
and
that's
whatnot.
fantastic.
Yeah,
and I think people would get behind.
Yeah.
I'm putting my hand up first.
I
I'll
know
support
you would.
that
I know
100%.
Yeah, so that I would love
And
to
I'd
be writing.
Get a cup with my
And a
face
cup with
on it.
your yes bonus
Sorry.
with the album.
Yeah.
You can.
Yes. I don't know if that would be so much a bonus.
It might
I'm
be.
not sure.
Who knows?
Well,
Any
it might
bonus
be.
is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's on the horizon. I'm kind of the mindset if an opportunity presents itself,
Yes.
to keep grab onto anything. It may be. Oh, we're going to go into this advice for maybe others later on. But if an opportunity comes up for something which I think there may be a lot of potential people that could see my singing or get to meet me or whatever, I'm always very open to doing those kind of things because you just don't know who you're going to meet at that point, who could direct you somewhere. The Abbas thing came of singing in one of my piano bar gigs, and the manager of that was sound engineering that evening.
I put it to you that you could do I'm going to use the term cabaret show, but not to be confused with feathers and high kicks and whatnot. The type of show that that would have material, songs that would link towards one another with some dialogue that would perhaps raise the awareness of mental illness. That may not be the most fun night out, but there, mind you, there may be some, I don't mean humour to be found in there, there may be some light moments to be interjected.
No, I think so too. I just read a book by Sarah Wilson, who is a TV presenter and personality, but she's written a book, I'm going to muck this up, Making the Beast Beautiful. And she, I was very unaware, but
was it
very
Sarah
long...
Ferguson?
No, Sarah Wilson.
Okay.
Her name is.
Okay.
She's also written the I Quit Sugar kind of books and whatnot.
Yes.
Gorgeous lady, long time and very severe sufferer of a variety of mental illnesses, which you would never know. But she kind of does bring humour to it because some of it is, something like Captain or Anxious Woman or something. It's like the ability to jump to a conclusion in one single, So she
like
there is a way of bringing lightheartedness to it because some of the things you experience together, you think how and why and how and
why and
what?
How. They're the things. Well, we've got to be careful about too much why. Because next thing,
it's an endless
50 years later, you're still asking and you go,
endless
I
loop.
Probably should have done a bit more living.
Yes.
But that being said,
Yeah.
let's move on to a sort of a lighter subject, and that is advice for young people who are starting out in the business, or perhaps sitting watching this, or
Hopefully.
people sit and watch this.
Should
I
be
don't
watching
know.
this.
And going, well, I'm a dancer, and I probably should start doing something on my voice. I guess it's more of an overall thing. You're a strong advocate of training. Right?
Yes,
This
yeah.
is really
Like I said, I
important
wish I had started a lot earlier.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's never too late. Never
Well, I
too
agree
late, I
with
don't think. Some good, good vocal teacher and vocal training is definitely required. Like I said, you can only get, I think, a certain point. It's not to say you aren't a great singer if you're not having training, but definitely if you want to pursue a career within it, and be versatile. And I mean, like you mentioned, if you're a dancer already, I mean, I think being a kind of triple threat is, or being versatile, doing your dancing, singing, acting, anything possible around that,
Correct.
training in that will definitely help you be able to get work within the whole entertainment industry. That's definitely one thing. And opportunities. I feel like people sometimes may sway away from things that's maybe it's not a paid thing. Say if you're the young, I mean, I still do things now where if I think it's going to be a good opportunity, and it may either it's not well paying or it doesn't pay. It's not to say to do everything for free, but especially if you're beginning and whatnot, I think you need to grab as many of those opportunities as you can because you just don't know who is going to be there. And that's not just the saying, it's actually so much of my work I've gotten because someone's seen me here, met me there. And if you're also then a nice person, it's not all about, again, it's not all about things. People need to be able to work with you.
Yes.
It's not just about talent or look or anything like that. You need to be a workable is not the word, but you need to be a decent human being also. It's none of this. I think the diva persona as singers kind of really sucks because
you'd have to be unbelievably talented to get away with being not very nice person. And even then, I can, the amount of times that I've said to folks, usually the younger ones, and they're starting a bit huffy and they go, oh, and I worked on this show and that person, so I told that person and said, listen, let me just give you a little bit of advice from the old guy here, right? Which is, and I normally ask them, so who's your favourite singer? And let's say they say it's Ariana Grande. Now, this is no slant. I love Ariana Grande, it's a matter of interest.
Phenomenal,
But if I said to this young lady, now imagine this, I've got Ariana Grande in the waiting room.
Yep.
And when you finish your lesson with me, we're going to say hello to Ariana.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And we go out and Ariana says, sorry, I don't have any time to talk to you. Yeah. I'm too busy. Ariana's career, as far as you're concerned, is over.
Yeah.
And she can probably afford to peeve a lot of people off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And still have a lot of people left over.
Yes, yeah.
And this is the point. Now, it's even more so today that those comments that people make, most folks are living on social media, and that's a subject for another podcast.
Another discussion.
But you just got to be watching yourself and not being paranoid.
Yeah,
you still got to be who you are.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to be awkward.
Awkward or I guess
awful.
Yeah,
and
awful
awkward. Don't be either of them.
Or like I guess brag. Again, not that I come across that many people. I've been in a few situations, say like an X Factor kind of scenario
yes,
where you've got I've done that experience too, which was very interesting and met some fantastic people through that.
Yeah.
But you'll be in situations where there are a number of performers, and you can very quickly kind of gauge. And maybe it's an insecurity thing, I don't know, but the brag is, I've done this and I've worked with that and I've done this and that, and it's just, I don't know, you'll find the ones that click and the ones that end up working a lot are the genuinely beautiful people that just, they're real, they do it because they love it. They take opportunities, they learn at every opportunity they can. Nothing's too small for them to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
definitely.
That's very, very true.
Definitely.
Well, speaking of things to do, there's only one thing left for us to do, which is let's go and have a sing.
That sounds fun. Let's go.
Good art. Fantastic. Mystery.